Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Empowering End Consumers, How Banks, FIs, and Fintechs Can Work Together to Deliver a Customer Recipient Experience. My name is Ashley Masico, and I'm with NACHA, and I have just a couple of housekeeping items to cover before we get started. First, this webinar is being recorded and all lines are muted. If you have a question for our presenters, please post them in the questions pod located on your dashboard, and we will answer them as time allows. For any questions we are unable to get to during this live event, we will follow up via email. Additionally, today's presentation, as well as the AAP and APRP credit forms, are available to download in the handouts pod on your dashboard. The presentation will also be emailed to the attendees following the live event, along with a link to access the recording. Finally, if you encounter any audio issues, please disconnect and rejoin, as this typically will correct any sound difficulties. With that, I'd like to introduce today's speakers. On the line with us today, we have the pleasure of hearing from George Eliopoulos, Chief Revenue Officer at ONBE, and Debbie Potts, Vice President, Healthcare Solutions Specialist at Fifth Third Bank. With that, I'll send it over to George. George, can you tell us just a little bit more about your role at ONBE?
Of course. Thanks for the handoff, and hello, everybody. Apparently, I'm the Chief Revenue Officer, so I've just been promoted. Thank you for that as well. And if you're going to look at my job, really what I do is simple. I help solve problems. I solve problems for my customers, specifically in the arena of B2C disbursements. We're going to learn a little bit more about what that means, but what I'm really tickled about here in this presentation is I actually get to go further back than my current role to where I started my professional career in banking as a commercial banking officer. Debbie, let's hear from you a little bit.
Yes, hi, thank you, George. Yes, so I'm Debbie Potts. I'm the Healthcare Solutions Specialist for Fifth Third Bank. So similar to George, I partner with our healthcare clients. I've been specializing in banking for 33 years, but healthcare specifically for 16 years. And I partner with our sales team to bring creative solutions to our clients, deep dive into their payable cycles as well as their receivable cycles to match with solutions. So look forward to sharing with everyone today this journey.
Awesome. And just to do a quick flyover for everyone here, we're going to do a little bit of history, not too far back in history, talk about some of the trends that are affecting the payments landscape around us. We're going to transition to what benefits are out there if we can master some of these changes, take advantage of them. Also cover the risks. It's not as easy as we'd like it to be to master this part of payments. And once you're able to master the risks, there's really a lot of reward, a lot of opportunity for all of us out there. We're going to talk a little bit about that and give a live example of something we were able to partner with Fifth Third on to accomplish for the city of Chicago. With that, let's move ahead to a little bit of a history lesson. If you think about the problem of having to solve for the movement of value, not always money, it's really an ancient problem. It goes back to the bartering system and probably even more interesting history before that. But let's not go that far back in time for the purposes of this presentation. Let's just go back to the lovely year of 2000, which is about the time I started my banking career. And not only was George Eliopoulos getting into banking, but checks made up the majority of non-cash payments. And I remember being a new banker and being told that I had to sell ACH. We're moving to a different direction. We're going to reduce costs. We're going to do things quicker. It's a better experience and so forth. And I didn't put up much resistance. I remember being, prior to that, a cashier and taking checks for groceries that had people's social security numbers on it. Good Lord, how far have we come if you think of that as an example? Well, payments really started to change pretty quickly. It's taking different forms. Prepaid cards, for example, started taking off in that time period. And by 2012, had really started growing faster than most other non-cash payment methods out there. Keep going forward, ACH debit transfers also really surpassed checks in about 2018. And if you go even further than that, closer to our current era, this is really what I call the advent of P2P payments really infiltrating our lives, both our personal and our business lives. And think about it, how many of us knew what Venmo or PayPal or Zelle were more than maybe 10, 12 years ago? Not very many of us, but they're household words today. What's the difference? What happened? It wasn't just COVID getting us out of stores, but frankly, consumers just like to interact from their phones. They like instant, they like digital. We like instant, we like digital. So it's no surprise that if you look towards the future, Real-time payments are estimated to quadruple in volume by 2026. Debbie, anything you'd like to add? You've certainly lived this journey yourself.
Yes, definitely have over my 33 years of banking, but yes, thank you, George. I mean, at Fifth Third, we're seeing a growing need for consumer satisfaction and ease of payments driving digital payments. Everybody is looking for real-time payments, moving that money more quickly and efficiently. As I specialize in healthcare, there's a large focus on consumerism. That's the buzzword right now, from collecting payments pre and post arrival to back-end patient refunds and getting funds to those patients. Patient experience is at the core in this highly competitive space, as well as importance of speed to revenue and cost reduction, especially with the rise in cost in the healthcare staffing we are seeing today in these crazy times. But we're seeing it in all industries. Resources, cost of staffing is just increasing. So the more efficiently and the better we can get payments to the end consumer is core to the success of our clients.
Awesome. A lot of great thoughts, I think, between us. I'd love to hear what the audience thinks. Let's go to a poll. Boy, was that a telegraphed move.
The poll is now open. Everyone should be able to provide their answer. And we do see some results coming in. Lots of people are saying payments infrastructure, cost, and technology. We've also got a lot of votes on here for fraud management. I'm going to give it just another second and then we can close it down. George, are you able to see those results there?
I do. 68% of you said payments infrastructure, cost, and technology, followed by 39% fraud, 24% compliance expertise, and 13% admin labor costs. I'm not too surprised to hear this.
No, I definitely agree with you, George. I mean, from what we hear every day from our clients, technology resources, helping them remove that barrier has been one of the key things in our managed service approach, as well as just in-house expertise and providing that infrastructure and fraud reduction. Fraud's at a all-time high, whether it be check fraud, payables fraud, you name it. So anything we can do to help our clients there has been core.
It makes a lot of sense to me. So one of the other trends that we see out there, we've talked about the consumer and what it means to us and personalizing it the way perhaps we use Zelle with each other to send each other money. Those are great experiences. There's a reason we use them, but we're not just consumers. We're also, many of us, business people. Our customers are also business people. And we're demanding that lovely, fast, choice-filled environment that's convenient starts to become part of our business interactions as well. Candidly, and I think all of us working for big companies at one point or another who have had the fortune to go through that know that it's not always as slick and convenient as we'd like it to be. Systems can get dated. We talked about technology, for example, being one of the blockers and one of the challenges. Well, we see it in our own places of work. That doesn't mean we should be happy with that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'm curious, Debbie, what your impressions are.
Yeah, George, I agree. Consumers, they want to make or receive payments in the form they trust and know most. And they expect real time, instant, satisfaction in today's world. Using their wallets, Venmo, PayPal are all key to improving customer satisfaction and more importantly, increasing the consumer loyalty to our business clients. The easier our clients can make their consumers be able to do business with them, and the trusted forms they well know is going to increase that loyalty, which is key to the success of all our companies.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that this is a problem we can solve, but there are some challenges along the way to solving this in the realm of cost, risk, and complexity. And let's just start with the top one. We all talked about this before. I think the people have spoken and voted on it. But let's also take it a step further and put it in the context of a financial institution, like a bank, for example. FIs, banks, big, powerful entities typically. They can do a lot. They are not short of capabilities, but the world around them keeps changing. And while they do have the power to evolve and change to build, just like us in our personal lives, we have to make choices on where we spend our time and money. They're finite resources in those cases. So I think one of the biggest challenges that's faced by many of our customers that we speak to is being able to dedicate an investment in infrastructure, marshaling the tech resources to do that. And even if you are able to do that, it's standing up some of the administrative items around it, monitoring programs for success, doing onboarding, but also think about it a little differently. If you're moving from a world of standard check or ACH to something more tangible, like a card or a Venmo payment, you might have a different type of customer service that falls into administrative labor to contend with. Debbie, what would you add?
No, definitely, Drew. I think the investment in technology, I think that's on both fronts. From a bank's perspective, we partner and invest a lot in fintechs, because of that expertise, infrastructure that can get us to market sooner. And our clients look at us the same way, whether it be in-house bank technology or partnerships we developed with fintechs. But the key of it is managing that for our clients, being that one single point of contact, working through those heavy investment and administrative labor costs, as well as just the compliance, everything from, getting out of the check world and the escheatment and unclaimed funds, helping them manage that. Even we are being creative, leveraging our fintech partnerships and our in-house expertise of, using bank and process accounts, moving things off of our clients' accounts to help prevent fraud and the compliance and the regulatory and manage that around these payment infrastructures, which are very complex and changing every day, as you know. As you said, you just walked us through when we thought ACH was the next best thing. We got to get everybody to ACH. Well, nobody wants to own and manage people's bank accounts. The fraud, the risk, and people don't want to give their bank account information out anymore. So these digital technologies with card, Venmo, PayPal are so core to consumer efficiency.
That's right. Let's maybe move on to the next section. Debbie, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, scale and evolve is key. We want to be able to provide our clients with a seamless, integrated payment solution. So we really look to bring together the best-in-class partners so we can be the single partner for our business clients, leveraging our in-house expertise and trusted relationships with fintech expertise, such as Ombi offers us in our business-to-consumer payment world. This model allows us to quickly bring best-in-class solutions to our clients with scalability to manage, as well as adding and continue to grow with additional payment methods and streamlining the compliance and the regulation. So it's a win-win for us. It's a win for our clients. It gives our clients a single point of contact. And that's how we see this evolving. It really gives us a seamless, scalable solution that we can bring to our clients with ease and trust and quicker time to market.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you're saying. And another aspect of it, and I wish the picture was maybe a little bit bigger here, is the ability to seamlessly surface these customized recipient experiences. With the movement of money, there's a recipient that's interacting with a device at one end. And that recipient, well, it's a chance to build some brand equity with them. Could be a chance to sell, upsell, cross-sell. Could be a chance just to make sure that they don't have any questions. But I think as business people ourselves and servicing businesses, an ideal type of solution brings contextual type of commerce, this type of experience that transcends physical to digital, and what we can do when someone's looking at a computer screen or a phone and maximizes the amount of impression we can make on that recipient.
Yeah, George, and I would echo that. I think one thing that's highlighted on the screen is a wide range of disbursement offerings. What we pride ourselves on is getting our clients out of having to make that decision for their consumer, having to track, and keep it on their side of, oh, Debbie wants to be paid by a check versus an ACH versus a card, Venmo, PayPal. really putting that choice of how you want to receive your funds in your clients' or consumers' hands for each of our businesses. And that has created the seamless experience for it's the way they want to receive their funds. And I think this type of technology really allows us to offer that flexibility to our clients to offer to their consumers.
Totally agreed. But let's hear from our audience. I believe we have a poll coming up.
Yes, so getting that sent out right now. We're asking here, what are your top business issues? That poll is open for voting. And we'll leave it open for just about 10 more seconds, let everybody get their votes in and read through those options there. Pretty mixed bag right now.
You're keeping us in suspense. Not fair. Come on.
We're gonna go ahead and share those results.
I realize some people might be joining over the phone. So just to recap here, at least the winners, top business issues, customer experience, service satisfaction, or NPS was 53% of the vote. Fraud monitoring, 47, ooh, fraud. It's gonna be a nice segue into what we'll talk about next. Managing payment disbursement and operations, 40%. And last but certainly not least, the shipment management at 7%.
Yes. All right.
I'm a little surprised at the achievement being so low. Maybe not enough people here have had to actually deal with it.
Yeah, that could very well be. I mean, as you know, not-for-profits in certain states don't need to do achievement, but when achievement comes into play and you are dealing with a lot of it, it is core to some of those solutions. But I think those definitely speaks to kind of what we're customer experience. It's what I'm hearing. You know, I know I specialize in healthcare, but I can tell you every CEO from a hospital system I've talked to in the past year, they have a lot of focus on streamlining their customer experience, making sure they're meeting the needs and I talked previously about the different ways to receive or pay funds, making it easy in ways they trust and want to do business. Consumerism, huge focus on all industries.
That's so true. Almost every CEO you talk to, or CFO, CMO, CRO, I can speak from experience. One of the things that we don't want to see happen is that we fall behind in trends. And there's the consumer experience, but there's also the broader trend that's been going on for years, is monetizing something that is previously just seen as pipeworks payments. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but there's just so much more we can do through payments that we're not taking advantage of, I think, as business owners, many of us. But let's talk about the ugly underbelly of this, fraud. Debbie, I know this is a passion of yours, so I'm going to take a step back and let you have at it.
Yeah, as a bank, we spend a lot of time monitoring fraud, whether it be credit card fraud, check fraud. You know, it's a key focus. It's a key focus of our clients. But by offering these new digital solutions, allowing the consumer, the patient in healthcare, to choose how they want to receive funds or pay funds, there's a huge reduction in fraud with that. The AI technology that can be used, the payment of choice, not sharing banking information, it really does create a whole nother avenue to reduce fraud, as well as cost in managing that fraud. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, some of the core solutions to our payment solutions is taking that off of our business clients' bank accounts and moving that distribution out of bank in process accounts so we can take on that risk and fraud monitoring for them. You know, money moves fast in real time. It doesn't need to sit in your bank account, and you don't need to expose your bank accounts anymore. The days of check float and all that are in the past. So moving this stuff to bank and process accounts has really helped our clients reduce reconciliation expenses, management, as well as significantly reduced fraud and risk of their bank accounts ever being exposed. So it's been a great way with the move of digital payments for us to really help our clients with the infrastructure changes and the partnerships we have created for them.
That's great, and then putting different spin on it. Fraud's definitely a real thing, and the better the mousetrap you build, oftentimes the more creative the crooks become. And what's interesting about all this and dynamic is how the fear of fraud can prevent a lot of businesses from growing, specifically growing cross-border into new markets. And if you think about growing businesses or helping our customers grow their businesses, oftentimes the next vector of growth is going to be cross-border, expanding to Europe, APAC, LATAM. Sometimes it's not expanding quite as far. Sometimes it's just over one of our nearer borders, Mexico or Canada. But the threat of fraud, again, can stop us because we don't know if we can manage it as we get into new verticals, new markets. So it's a bit of a shame, but in a proper solution, this is handled for us. And we're going to talk a little bit about cross-border capabilities for global citizens on the next slide here. But think of this as when you can solve and take fraud out of the picture, you can enable growth into new markets, capturing more market share. One of the top things that a CEO, CRO, CMO are going to think about. There's also another aspect to this. It's not just about market share, but a lot of our FIs that we talk to, they have some corner cases that have to be solved for. And let me just give an example of a common problem. A lot of businesses, they have employees who operate cross-border. They don't have bank accounts. It's maybe a temporary stint or something similar to that. Well, how do you get them value, something that they can exchange for goods, be able to operate where they are? And that's just one of the many use cases that a good payment solution, particularly when you're not worried about fraud, can solve for. Debbie, I know you've got some experience with cross-border. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I think the key, and as you touched on it, I mean, in today's world, employees, consumers, they travel, they may be, that need of instant funds is critical. I think one of the things that I see mostly from our business clients is it's the flexibility. It's the single, seamless, we need to get payments out the door, but we don't necessarily want to manage where and how I have to get them to someone. So these type of digital payment solutions allow us to allow the end consumer to choose how they want to receive their funds and provide that intelligent routing. Reduces the overhead on our clients of having to manage cross-border versus domestic payments versus, any other type of payment they need to get out, and really putting that back into their consumers' hands. So this intelligent routing, self-service, self-choice capability really helps streamline the process and payments getting out the door and the reconciliation for our clients as we manage that for them. So yeah, I think definitely a key aspect as you start to grow and need these type of solutions, the digital payment world opens up those doors a lot easier.
Absolutely, and I think we can solve all of this. It's a win for all, both the recipients, the businesses that we serve, and of course, the financial institution itself. We'd love to have some of your thoughts here, Debbie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a win for all. For one, it's an improved end consumer experience, creating consumer loyalty, reduced phone calls, reduced costs, instant payment, reduced reconciliation. And from our perspective, bringing these solutions together as a trusted partner to our business clients has been core to our value. We look to manage these solutions for them, remove the barriers, help them reach their end consumers in a very compliant, low cost, low restrictive way. The partnerships is a win for all. Us partnering with Fintech, us partnering with our business clients, time to market, reduce costs, and at the end of it, the experience for the consumer is a win in the end, which helps everyone succeed.
Absolutely agreed with you. And in talking to our FI partners, one of the main themes that comes up is when you can solve for these complex use cases, come with something unique, you prevent a competitor from landing a wedge product. You protect your revenue. But also, because you're doing something unique, you open up a new revenue stream for your own institution. Now, being able to solve more problems is always going to get you more budget, as we say in tech sales. And through partnerships, particularly when solving for these complex disbursement use cases, you can absolutely demand more budget and open up revenue streams. which really takes me to a solution, an end-to-end partnership and what that looks like. Now, we certainly partner with a number of institutions as the partner. We tend to be white labeled into the solution ourselves. That works well for us, and it provides a lot of the benefits that we talked about before. Agility, speed to market, reach. So it's about being quick, getting more revenue, not just for our customers, but also for the financial institutions that we work with. Debbie, this is a lot of the virtues that you extolled just earlier. Perhaps you'd like to elaborate a bit on what you've seen.
No, I totally agree. I mean, important to us is owning our customer experience. So us using our in-house expertise with our fintech partnerships, we manage and own that experience for our clients, and they much appreciate it. But that same virtue is what our clients are looking for too. Our business clients want to own their consumer experience. So those same principles are what we carry on to our clients with the cost saves, allowing them to own that experience as well. So I think the thing we're seeing in today's world is the consumer satisfaction is key. And having these type of end-to-end partnerships and solutions really allows us each to extend that down the food chain and really create that branding and market opportunities for all, which has been a great success for us, as well as I know for Onbe.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, it's going back to the original problem. Financial institutions, big banks, powerful entities that can do a lot, but they just can't do everything at once. So one of the ways to do more at once is certainly through partnership. I think we're transitioning now to a quick audience poll here.
Yes, let me get that opened up for everybody right now. So we're asking, what are your top expectations for delivering digital payments in 2023? Is it deliver a modern payment experience, so that agility and speed? Is it provide compliance expertise and fraud, so mitigation, management, achievement management, offloading risk, complexity, and admin burden, or branding and marketing opportunities, new avenues to engage our customers? I will say out the gate, we are seeing lots of people, expecting to deliver a modern payments experience, that agility and speed that you both just talked about. I'll give it just a little bit longer, and then I'll kick you the results. All right. Sharing those results with you now.
Yes, overwhelmingly for the payment experience, which I'm not surprised there, George. I mean, I think as we kind of had the theme throughout this whole thing, that experience, that payment ability, the flexibility, has been core to all the infrastructure, speed to market stuff that we have focused on with our fintech partnerships.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see it as a second branding and marketing opportunities, ways to engage people. It's part of experience, but it's what you do when you have somebody's attention that's really important for driving loyalty and additional revenue. And of course, we scared everyone with the compliance talk. It was third place there, not too far off.
Yeah.
And fraud, it's not going away anytime soon.
That's a necessary evil, that compliance.
Yeah, sure is. Well, we've seen payments.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Oh, please, you first.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we move through this, I mean, we've talked a lot, about the different sectors, and we're seeing, ability to have this type of payment solution. You're seeing healthcare. I mean, people have to get patient refunds to folks, getting money to consumers. You think from healthcare perspective, you're just paying your doctors and your providers, but no, at the end of all that, sometimes there's refunds, and there's a lot of them out there that they have to get to these patients that they may not have banking information for, bad addresses, or you name it. But you're seeing it on the insurance side for premiums payouts, premium refunds, insurance payouts. You're seeing it in community programs, and we're going to talk about a use case here in a second on a type of community program that Fifth Third partnered with On Beyond that is very core to how we serve our communities. And then just even in market research with our universities and the different type of market research, and being able to easily get payments to folks without having to cut checks or hand them physical cards or get addresses and mail. So I think there's tons of different cases where anytime you need to get funds to someone, these type of solutions can be very valuable.
Absolutely agreed. And if you make it simple, and maybe even some of us have experienced this personally, think about when a company owes us a small overpayment of $2.82, of course, making up the number. This actually happened quite a bit in the world. Loan overpayments, sometimes it's these medical overpayments and more. The company has to send you a check today in a lot of cases. They have to know where you are. And oftentimes, to actually send a check, if you consider achievement, what happens if the check doesn't get where it goes? It comes back. You got to report it to unclaimed property for $2.82. It costs the company $5 to send a check on average when you factor all of that in, which is kind of crazy to think about the environment that a lot of our mutual customers have to go through. And it's also just not that great consumer experience on top of it. So it's really taking a look at the problems that your customers as FIs actually go through, and sometimes just letting them know there is a better way to do it. That's where we're really finding a lot of new white space to grow even our own business, educating people on a problem that exists, but they're unaware of. So that lets us go forward a little bit to, if you're a visual learner like me, what a great type of relationship looks like. Now, I'll just use Ombi because this is what we do as a fintech partner, but really a proper type of solution is a seamlessly integrated fintech partner that just folds into the FI's solutions. FIs can now do more without overly committing resources, and they can get to market faster, solving for client needs, solving for consumer needs. And when we do this correctly, we're offering choice. And it's choice not just for the consumer, but an array of choices that solve for unique, difficult payments use cases. We're going to talk about one next. The integration is easy. There's branding included here, so a chance to market to the end consumer or just make sure that they're having a good experience. Security and compliance are taken care of, included in that. Customer service and achievement can be offloaded to a company such as Onbe. And data is made available. From this data, from these dashboards, business insights can be derived. Things like spend data, for example. Who's redeeming what? Where are they redeeming it? And more. And we all have to be honest, data is a new type of currency in this age. So let's democratize that data and make sure everyone has access to it. Debbie, I would love to hear your perspective on this.
No, I agree. I think that seamless integration is core. It allows us to blend our in-house expertise with some of the rails that our fintech partners can bring us and get us to market faster and use synergies across security and compliance and data analytics. But I agree with you. I think the data analytics is core to, a lot of these solutions, whether it's intelligence routing, knowing how people want to get paid. We have a lot of focus on that right now, just understanding the consumer's behavior. If Debbie responds to email, if Debbie responds to text, how she likes to have her money sent to her, using that intelligence. And I think you're going to see more and more of that with real-time payments and things as that comes in more fruition as the years go by here.
Got it. Let's talk about the case study. Debbie, I know you were very passionate about
this one is near and dear to our hearts at Fifth Third. And, one of the things we pride ourselves on, because we're in communities, we bank regionally and, giving back to communities we serve is core to our Fifth Third mission. And this one, just kind of, resonates that, it's bringing a program to the city of Chicago, to its lower income to help them manage such a vital program for their transportation. I think this shows, how this solution can be used and maybe not even one of your things you would think of traditionally. I know, George, you were very close to this project, but I know this was a win for us. It was a win for the city of Chicago. I mean, obviously a win for Onbe. But why don't you share a little bit of the process you guys went through as we partnered together to bring this great transportation program to the city of Chicago?
No, absolutely. And I can't tell you how passionate I am about this one for a number of reasons. One, as many of you can tell by my lovely accent, I am a Chicagoan. So it was great to help sponsor a solution, a program that solves for the residents of the city that I live in. It was also extra special because, in staying on the personal, my first gig in banking as an intern was actually for a legacy Fifth Third bank company within the city. So there's a certain power to be able to solve something locally. Thirdly, one of Ombi's headquarters is in the Chicagoland area. So really making this something that we all rallied around and are proud of what we came up with. And let's look at the unique use case. I always say, if you can solve a big business problem, a complex one, it's going to get you a special place. It'll get you more budget. And that goes for the bank. It goes for also many of our business customers. But in this case, it's a different angle because it's about helping the community. Here was the problem. The problem was the city had to get funds to specific people that can only be used in a specific geography, the city of Chicago, and only for a specific purpose, to buy gas or to load public transit cards. Not as easy of a thing to do, especially if you want to control it and understand how people are spending, when they're spending, where they're spending. So working together, what we did was embrace a solution that would send, in this case, a physical card to select Chicagoans that the city approved, limiting where they can spend these cards, again, specifically within the city limits at fueling and transit stations as well. And it's been a great success. I think, Debbie, you would certainly agree. Everything's gone quite well with this program, and we're looking forward to do more of these programs across the country. But the end result here was really a win-win-win. It was a win for of course, Ombi. It was a great win for Fifth Third, but it was also a win for the city, and more importantly, for the citizens of the city of Chicago. With that,
No, couldn't agree more. I mean, very successful and just a great all-in community effort with the city of Chicago.
Yeah. Well, let's move ahead to summarizing what we've heard here today before we head to Q&A. Debbie, you care to take us away?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've echoed is really enabling the consumer of choice how they want to receive their payments, real-time payments. And at the end of, the core to all of that is a satisfied consumer for our businesses. But more importantly, too, is how we can continue to develop and grow that as payment channels change, as real-time payments come out, as FedNow comes out. You're going to see continued dynamics. But I think from the consumer side, you're seeing a great migration to digital wallets, to Venmo, to PayPal, and enabling our consumers to just operate in the method they feel most comfortable with, I think is key to success and adoption. So, that's one thing we're going to continue to pride ourselves on, of making those payment channels easy for our clients, and getting that to market in a timely effort. And that's not only with our in-house expertise, but leveraging fintech partnerships is core to that across the board in all different spectrums of solutions.
Well said, Debbie, well said. And I think it's that last bit that I think about. You really want to get to market as quick as possible and do as much as possible. And it's through partnership, particularly in the fintech space, that I think FIs, as powerful as they are, can move even faster and solve even more business problems, not just capitalizing on new revenue streams, but also protecting their existing revenue, making sure that their customers find the solutions that they need, both domestic and global, in one place. So with that, I think we've got some time for a little bit of Q&A.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm seeing a couple questions in the chat here. The first one is, we have somebody asking, when you're looking to move to digitizing payments for your customers, where's the best place to start?
I'm happy to take this one just to kick off. I think the first thing to do is to understand the flow. What business problem are you solving? It's customers, but maybe it's also employees. It might be a sales incentive, or you have somebody who's working abroad. You also have to understand, are they underbanked, for example? You must know all these dynamics before you can really craft the proper program. Sometimes it's as simple as a rebate, but until you understand those flows, it's hard to understand where best to start digitizing. I'd say one of the best ways to do this is to be as flexible as possible. Certainly offer choice, but don't make the choices overwhelming. I think a type of portal offered seamlessly through a financial institution, and just given the audience here, we've seen this executed quite well a few times, that lets the FI work with their customer to seamlessly pick the best options. Typically digital, but sometimes you're going to need physical, is really the best way. I mean, I guess if you really sum it all up, you have to know the flows and you have to know your customers, and it all starts with a simple conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that, George. Debbie, is there anything you'd want to add to that from an FI's perspective?
No, I agree. I mean, that's kind of my role as being solution consultants, really listening to the clients, understanding the problem they are trying to solve. You know, one thing I pride myself on, and, you know, a lot of my counterparts, is that, you know, don't push product. Understand and find solutions. And then you understand what solutions or products may help a client. So I think that's core to it. You know, really, I think you hit on it well, George, is, you know, listening and understanding the problem and then figuring out what the right solution for that problem is.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Debbie. We have another one here just asking a little bit about infrastructure, which I think would probably be a great question for George to kick off. What kind of infrastructure would you need to offer a solution like OnBee or to start digitizing payments?
I think in the context of an FI, what you really want to start with is something that can be white labeled. You're taking a solution and you want it to look seamlessly like it's part of your existing offering as best as you can to offer to your customers, to then let them customize to offer to their customers. So that would be one of the top items I'd look at from an infrastructure standpoint. Can it be built in seamlessly? From there, can it easily be tuned to offer the right type of payment modalities for the recipients to be offered to the end recipients? And I think when you can do those things, then you can start to look at an infrastructure that also allows for customization and monetization on the when the business is sending to the recipient. Surfacing ads, making impressions, making sure they're having a great experience, all of those things matter. So those would be three major things I'd start with for anyone beginning this journey.
Thank you. Debbie, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think from an infrastructure perspective, there are, you know, from an FI's perspective, you know, there's a lot of integration, you know, we need to do to make it seamless for our clients, leveraging their balances, you know, integrating into our billing systems, you know, ensuring compliance and due diligence of each and every fintech we bring to them. So the value of utilizing your bank is really taking on that due diligence, taking on that single billing across multiple solutions, multiple fintechs potentially as we partner things together. So yeah, I think from an infrastructure perspective, you know, you still have that due diligence and compliance, watchful eye, but you get to do it from a lot more speed to market perspective, partnering with different fintechs to bring it together.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. So that is what we have for today. I appreciate you all being here. Debbie and George, thank you so much for your time and all the information that you have laid out here for us today. If you have any questions, the attendees, if you have any questions following this webinar, you can email myself. My email has been on all of your webinar correspondence so far, and I can route those questions to Debbie or George to get you those answers. The recording will be sent to you following this live event. And again, just thank you so much for giving us your attention today.
Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic afternoon.
Thank you.